Do you believe that the largest animal that ever existed in the entire history of Earth is still alive today? We're not talking about fossils. We're not talking about legends. We're talking about a real creature swimming in the oceans at this very moment. Yes, dinosaurs were enormous. Colossal beasts that dominated entire continents for millions of years. But none of them come close to the blue whale. 33 meters long. 190 tons of pure muscle and fat. The largest animal that ever walked, flew, or swam on this planet. And here's the mystery. How is this possible? If dinosaurs reigned supreme for over 160 million years, why didn't any of them manage to beat the whale's record? Why is the largest living being of all time not a prehistoric reptile, but a mammal that exists now? The answer isn't just in biology. It's in physics. It's in a secret that nature has kept hidden for millions of years. If you're already curious about this topic, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for even more surprising facts. Let's start with concrete facts. The blue whale can exceed 30 meters in length. That's the size of 3 school buses lined up. And the weight? Up to 190 tons, heavier than most empty commercial airplanes. The absolute record belongs to a female captured in Antarctica in 1909. 33.57 meters in length, an animal larger than a 10-story building lying on its side. 190,000 kilograms of meat, fat, and bones. Now let's talk about dinosaurs. The largest was the Dinosaurs, discovered in Argentina. This giant herbivore reached 35 meters in length, 2 meters longer than a blue whale. Impressive, right? But here's the detail. The Dinosaurs weighed between 70 and 100 tons, half the weight of a whale. When we talk about the largest animal, it's not just height or length, it's the whole package. Mass, volume, total physical presence. And in that respect, the blue whale is unbeatable. It's not just big, it's massive in a way that no dinosaur ever managed to be. The answer lies in something so fundamental that we often forget: the environment. The ocean offers something that no land can offer: buoyancy. Think about it this way. On solid ground, every gram of your weight needs to be supported by your skeleton and muscles. Gravity constantly pulls you down. Now imagine weighing 100 tons, 200 tons. Your legs would need to be so thick that you could barely move. Your bones would break under their own weight. In the water, everything changes. Buoyancy eliminates 90% of the problem. The blue whale doesn't need legs to support 190 tons. The water does the heavy lifting. The body simply floats. It's like the difference between carrying 100 kilos on your back on solid ground and floating with 100 kilos in a swimming pool. In the first case, you collapse. In the second, you don't even feel the weight. The giant dinosaurs needed to support every gram with their legs. 4 legs as thick as tree trunks, bones as dense as concrete, muscles that consumed energy just to exist. And even then, there was an absolute physical limit. The skeleton needed to be incredibly strong. The bones couldn't be too hollow, otherwise they would break. But they also couldn't be too dense, otherwise the animal would be too heavy to move. It's an impossible balance. And the larger it is, the more difficult it becomes. There's also the problem of the circulatory system. A dinosaur, 20 or 30 meters tall, needs to pump blood all the way to its brain. This means overcoming 20 meters of gravity. The heart needs to be gigantic. The blood pressure needs to be absurdly high. And all of this consumes a lot of energy. Take the elephant as an example. It's the largest living land animal today. It weighs about 6 tons. It has 4 thick legs with strong knees. And yet, it doesn't run. It walks, because it's already at the physical limit of what a land body can sustain. The math is brutal. The larger the land animal, the more effort it needs to exist. And the more effort, the harder it is to survive. Physics itself imposes a limit. Whales don't have that limit. Now let's talk about something absurd at first glance. The largest animal in the world feeds on some of the smallest creatures in the ocean. Krill. Tiny shrimp-like crustaceans measuring about 2 centimeters. Billions of them float in the icy waters of Antarctica and the Arctic. And the blue whale, weighing 190 tons, simply opens its mouth and swallows them. An adult blue whale can consume up to 4 tons of krill per day, 4,000 kilograms, and it doesn't need to hunt, it doesn't need to chase, it doesn't need to fight. It simply swims through the clouds of krill with its mouth open, filtering millions through its baleen plates. It's like being on an endless buffet where food is thrown directly into your mouth. No effort, no energy expenditure, no risk. You eat a lot, grow a lot, and all you have to do is open your mouth and swim. Compare this to carnivorous dinosaurs. The Tyrannosaurus rex, the Giganotosaurus. These predators needed to actively hunt, to chase fleeing prey, to expend energy running, biting. They didn't always manage to take down their prey. Sometimes they went days without eating. Sometimes they were injured. Sometimes they died of starvation. And what about giant herbivores? The Argentinosaurus needed to spend the entire day eating tons of vegetation. The animal ate constantly just to maintain its metabolism. And vegetation isn't rich in calories. You have to eat a lot to get very little energy. The whales solved this problem ingeniously. Krill is extremely nutritious, rich in protein and fat, and exists in virtually infinite quantities. The whale developed a system that maximizes calorie intake and minimizes energy expenditure. Open your mouth. Nothing. Close your mouth. Filter the water. Swallow the krill. Repeat. 4 tons a day. Every day. It's the perfect strategy for limitless growth. But there are other animals in the ocean. Sharks, colossal squid, orcas. Why haven't they grown so large? The answer lies in a unique combination that only blue whales have managed to put together. First, warm blood. Whales are mammals. They maintain a constant body temperature, and the larger the body, the better it retains heat. It's basic thermal physics. A large body loses heat more slowly. In the icy waters of Antarctica, having a gigantic body is a survival advantage. The layer of blubber helps, but the size itself is a warming strategy. The larger the whale, the less energy it needs to stay warm. Second, long-distance migration. Blue whales migrate thousands of kilometers every year from polar waters rich in krill to warmer waters for reproduction. This migration demands energy efficiency, and larger bodies are more efficient at long-distance travel. Third, an endless food resource. Krill is not only abundant, it's predictable. Every year, at the same time, the polar regions explode with massive krill populations. The whales know exactly where to go and when. There is no uncertainty. It's a guaranteed buffet. Fourth, absence of predators. An adult blue whale has no natural predators. Not even orcas attack healthy adults. They are too big, too strong. The risk is not worth it, so the whale can grow without fear. The bigger, the better. Compare it to a shark. They are efficient and deadly, but cold-blooded. They need to hunt actively. Their prey flees and fights. A shark needs to be fast and agile. Being gigantic would be a disadvantage. It would lose speed, expend too much energy, and have difficulty hunting. The whale doesn't need speed. It only needs to swim slowly with its mouth open. The larger it is, the more krill it collects in each bite. It's the perfect combination. Warm blood, plus cold waters, plus migration, plus endless krill, plus absence of predators. No other animal has combined all these characteristics. That's why none have grown so large. Whales weren't always giants. They only became colossal very recently on a geological timescale in the last 2 to 3 million years. The story begins 50 million years ago in the Eocene. The first whales were not entirely aquatic. Pachycetus was about 1.5 meters long. It looked more like a long-legged wolf. It lived on the banks of rivers, hunting fish. Over time, these animals spent more time in the water. Their hind legs shrank. Their front legs turned into flippers. Their bodies became hydrodynamic. The Ambulocetus emerged, measuring about 4 meters in length. Millions of years later, the first fully aquatic whales appeared. Basilosaurus, 40 million years ago, was 18 meters long. Impressive, but still slender and elongated. It didn't have the colossal mass of modern whales. For tens of millions of years, whales remained this size. They were efficient predators. Some evolved to filter small organisms, developing baleen plates, but they were still not giants. Then, 3 million years ago, something changed. Ocean currents reorganized themselves, the climate cooled, the polar ice caps expanded, cold, nutrient-rich waters began to circulate intensely through the oceans. This created perfect conditions for massive phytoplankton explosions, which feed the zooplankton, which feed the krill. Suddenly, the polar oceans became veritable banquets, billions of tons of krill floating through the icy waters. Whales that filtered small organisms had access to a virtually infinite source, and evolution favored the larger ones. Larger whales collected more krill. They conserved heat better. They were more efficient at migrating. Generation after generation, their size increased. In just a few million years, blue whales reached 190 tons, 33 meters, the largest animal that ever existed. And the most incredible thing is, they're still here. While dinosaurs became extinct 65 million years ago, whales continue to swim. They've seen continents move. They've seen ice ages. They've seen the meteor that killed the dinosaurs. And they've survived it all. Blue whales aren't the only giants the ocean has produced. The sea has always been a factory of monsters. The largest animals of each era have always lived in the water. 200 million years ago, ichthyosaurs dominated the oceans. Marine reptiles similar to dolphins, but much larger. The Shonosaurus was over 20 meters long, a dolphin the size of a humpback whale. During the Cretaceous period, mosasaurs emerged. Massive marine lizards, some reaching 18 meters in length. Jaws full of teeth, muscular bodies. They were apex predators hunting everything. And the megalodon, the most terrifying shark that ever existed, 18 meters long, 50 tons, teeth the size of a human hand. It dominated the oceans millions of years ago. It hunted whales. It only became extinct 3 million years ago. All these giants lived in the ocean because the ocean allows it. Because in the sea, gravity is not a prison. It's just a detail. Compare that to the giants of the land. Argentinosaurus had to drag 100 tons on 4 legs. Tyrannosaurus rex weighed only 9 tons. Paraceratherium, the largest land mammal that ever existed, weighed 20 tons. Nothing close to the 190 tons of the blue whale. The ocean is, and always has been, home to true giants, and the blue whale is the undisputed queen. Is there a limit to the size of an animal? Does the blue whale represent the absolute maximum, or is it possible to get even bigger? The honest answer, we don't know, but we can speculate. From a theoretical point of view, there are physical limits. A blue whale's heart is already the size of a small car. It pumps thousands of liters per minute. If the whale were much larger, the heart would not be able to pump blood efficiently. Furthermore, there is the problem of feeding. A blue whale needs 4 tons of krill per day. A whale twice as large would need 8. 4 times larger, 16 tons. At some point, the amount of food needed becomes so absurd that the animal would not be able to meet its metabolic needs. And then there's reproduction. Blue whales already have long gestations and produce 1 calf at a time. A larger animal would have an even longer gestation period, and the calf would be so large that it would require extreme care. The survival rate would drop. The population wouldn't be sustainable, but there's a counter-argument. If you had asked a scientist 5 million years ago what the largest possible animal would be, they would have said that 50 tons was the limit, and they would have been wrong by more than 100 tons. Evolution has a habit of surprising us, of finding impossible solutions. Perhaps in some future ocean with different environmental conditions, something even bigger will appear. 300 tons, 500 tons, or perhaps the blue whale is already the absolute pinnacle, the largest that physics and biology allow, the end point of the evolution of gigantism. Only time will tell. But here's a grim truth. The blue whale almost disappeared forever, and it was because of us. During the 20th century, commercial whaling reached industrial levels. Factory ships processed whole whales on the high seas. Explosive harpoons pierced their bodies. More than 300,000 blue whales were killed between 1860 and 1960. The global population fell from 300,000 individuals to less than 5,000. The species was on the verge of total extinction. In 1966, commercial whaling was banned internationally. Populations began to recover slowly. Today, it is estimated that there are between 10,000 and 25,000 blue whales. Still far from the original numbers, but recovering. It's a brutal lesson. The blue whale survived meteors, ice ages, extreme climate change and colossal predators, but it was nearly driven to extinction by humans. Today, they face new challenges. Climate change alters currents and affects krill populations. Noise pollution interferes with communication. Collisions with ships kill dozens every year. The largest animal that ever existed is still here, but its survival depends on our choices. So why are whales bigger than dinosaurs? The answer is a perfect combination of physics, biology, and evolutionary luck. Water eliminates the problem of gravity. Krill provides abundant food effortlessly. Warm blood allows them to live in icy waters. The absence of predators allows them to grow without limit, and millions of years of evolution have refined every detail. Dinosaurs were prisoners of gravity. Their legs had a limit, their hearts had a limit. Solid ground itself imposed restrictions that could not be overcome. The whales broke those chains. They found an environment where the rules were different, and they became something impossible on land. True living titans. The blue whale is not just the largest animal. It is proof that nature, when given the right conditions, has no limits. It is the result of 50 million years of adaptation and survival. And she's still here, swimming through the icy oceans, eating tons of krill, bigger than any dinosaur ever was. The true giant of the earth. Now, today. Which of these creatures impressed you the most? The blue whale weighing 190 tons? The colossal dinosaurs? Or the prehistoric sea monsters? And the big question is, do you think an even bigger animal will ever appear? Or does the blue whale represent the absolute maximum limit? Comment below. Because this is the kind of mystery that science hasn't completely solved yet. If you were impressed, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content about the mysteries of nature. In the next video, we'll talk about creatures that should have been extinct millions of years ago, but were found alive, living fossils, the ghosts of evolution. Thanks for watching. Until the next mystery,